Welcome to it in the month of March.
Uh-huh. Here, move over a bit. There you go. I gotta be in here too, you know?
Take it all. Happy first week back from March break. Some people are still on March break, depending what school you're in, or a public or private.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, some private schools have 2 weeks. So some might still be on March break. Others, I think majority are back though. And if you were lucky enough to go away actually during March break, you picked a good week because it was cold last week.
Which a lot of teachers go away. Or people that have to do with anything with school.
I think especially with, this year in particular, I find that a lot of people are traveling. So I do feel like it was busier than probably previous years because obviously other years we were in the lockdowns, so you couldn't travel if you weren't vaccinated, etc. So I think a lot of people...
Well, we're kind of the ones that we've also been traveling more this year.
Yeah.
More than usual.
You know what? Why not? If you're able to, why not? See the world. There's so much to see out there.
Oh, yeah.
So anyway, and it's our first full day of spring.
Yes, first full day of spring. I was saying to Martha, it's so weird how they, spring comes in at, what time was it, 5 something?
5:30 something.
Like, why not just
something.
have, just let it, when the clock strikes midnight, boom, it's spring, right?
So you mean we should put it on Sunday? Or yesterday over to today?
Yeah, exactly, right?
Okay, well, whatever. Regardless, we are
sure
in spring.
Sure
We made it. We all made it. We finally made it.
Well, we made it to spring, technically, but it's still...
Yeah,
not
I know. Mother Nature has been a little bit rough on us.
Slowly coming back.
The last few weeks.
The beginning of
She's
winter was easy.
Let me give it to you last minute.
Yeah, exactly. The beginning of winter was easy.
Yeah, we all thought, this is a great winter.
Yeah, and then, we got walloped there at the end, so... But we're almost there. The nicer weather is upon us. Looking at the 14-day, it looks definitely better than the last 14 days. So things are looking up.
That is true.
And just a lot to talk about. I mean, we usually do our lives like pretty much right after we do our stats or right after some kind of important real estate announcement. So last week, was it March 8th? March 8th, they did the interest rate announcement, and lo and behold, there was absolutely no change, which is a very good thing to hear.
Good sign.
Signs pointing in the right direction. So I guess we'll see now how the market reacts to this announcement of no change.
But we were saying that with the previous announcement, them decreasing the increase by 0.25, so remember it was 0.5, then it's 0.25, and now nothing. That is, we are trending in the right direction.
Who knows? Maybe the next one will be minus 0.25.
I don't think that.
No, I don't think so either.
But, if it continues this way that we're kind of, holding still, that's a good sign.
Yeah.
Obviously the market is reflected to that. But I think more so it's reflective in the fact that the last 2 years have not been normal. And I know we're hearing a lot about, the market is softened and it's not good. And, the media is definitely painting that picture.
Yeah.
But I think what we need to take into account is that if we're comparing it to the last 2 years, especially last year, January, February, the numbers were insane. Yes, of course the market is different compared to that, but overall if you look at a 10-year, even 5-year trend, no, the market is still good.
Yeah, and I mean it's kind of weird because look at the stats. It's like the months of inventory, which essentially is a very important piece of statistic. The months of inventory, I was saying to you, like, oh wow, this month is, I should say last month, February, so we always do the stats for the previous month. The months of inventory actually dipped quite a bit compared to what I've been seeing over the last 6 months. But I mean, when we're out there with clients and we have places on the market, it's, even though it's low inventory, it seems like places are still taking a little while to sell, even though, and we've actually noticed that it's actually some pockets of the market have very low inventory. I think I was looking last week, and Milton in a particular area, I think Harrison, no, was it Scott Boulevard had no townhouses at all. Two-story, no two-story townhouses
Scott
at all.
neighborhood.
Scott neighborhood in Milton. But then, I mean, we sold a condo in Oakville, and that particular condo building, it went from having 2 listings to now there's over 10 listings, and they're just sitting on the market. And then, you know, some other places that we've noticed as well, you know, it seems like we have low inventory overall, but then when you start getting into the micro markets
Yes.
and really start narrowing things down, that's when you can start seeing where the inventory is lying. And in a buyer, for a buyer, you can start seeing where possibly you can get some deals. Right?
Absolutely, and I think that's what the big. I think that's why it's so confusing. A lot of people are confused what's been happening. You know, prices are going down, and you know places are sitting. Yes, certain areas, and then there's other areas we are seeing multiple offers.
Yeah.
Which
I think we talked about that too on the last
Yes.
live. So
Yeah.
it's kind of continued since our last live.
Yep, and I think we always say that with buyers, it's interesting when there's announcements to be made, especially, you know, in regards to interest rates. We find that the couple of weeks leading into it, it feels like the buyers kind of sit back.
Yeah, they like put a hold on
Yeah, and just kind of like wait to hear what's happening. Once the announcement is made, you know, this time around, obviously no change. We have seen, I think, more of a pickup in the market a lot quicker versus when announcement is made and there is some kind of a change, obviously for the negative, meaning interest rates have gone up. We've seen that it takes a couple of weeks for the market
to start
for the
getting
buyers
back
to come
to
out again.
whatever it's going to be. Yeah, to start
So-
seeing the reaction.
Yes.
To start seeing the reaction.
Yes. And generally speaking, we say that, you know, spring market is usually where a lot of people list their homes. Specifically, I think the week after Easter, it usually is where things pick up quite a bit.
Yeah, that's true.
So it will be interesting to see what's going to happen this year. Obviously, it's definitely a lot different than it has been last year and the year prior. So, you know, where everybody's just adjusting to the new normal, because this actually is the normal prior to
Yeah.
the craziness.
Yeah, and if you're interested, go back into our posts here on Instagram and check out when I put the stats out last for the previous month for February. And as you should know, last year in February is when we hit the high in the market. So the stats from the last month in February definitely reflect how the market was super heated in February of 2022 compared to what the numbers are now in 2023. It's quite eye-opening. But now we're going to start seeing the decline because February was at high. March things really started to come down.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting to see where the year-over-year prices are March of last year to March of this year. And then even more interesting when we get into April to see the stats from April of last year to April of this year.
Yes.
I'm thinking that it's not going to look as bad because that's when things started
Right.
coming down, right?
Yes, the things started adjusting.
Yes,
Yep.
exactly. So
Yep.
it's
Yep.
going to be interesting. It's almost like you're going to see that wave, right? So it's,
Yep.
it's pretty cool when you're thinking about that. If you like numbers.
So Eric, who's on our live, he said he agrees. In the recent 2 weeks, I've noticed a lot of properties in Mississauga selling in less than 7 days.
Yeah.
Very true.
Yeah.
See, and that's what we're saying. It's different sectors, and it's probably also true to depending on the property type. So condos versus freeholds, and then you're looking at townhomes versus detached, and also different price points.
Yeah.
You know, properties may be over the 1.5 million, maybe things are a little bit different than obviously properties under that price. But yeah, like we say, we've been watching it, and it's funny how, you know, an interest or announcement, any sort of announcement really changes the market a little bit for a couple of weeks before and then a couple of weeks after.
Well, we'll see what's going on because we know that there's lots of people that are getting pre-approved right now.
Always, every
Lots
day.
of people, but I mean more now. Now that people heard the interest rate,
Yes, it hasn't
like people
changed,
are
yeah.
getting their stuff together, right?
Yeah.
It's gonna, you know, I mean, things don't happen instantly, right?
No, of course.
Interest rate announcement came. There's no change. Okay, you know what? Let's see if how much we get approved for. So yeah, you're right. A couple weeks, and a lot of those people that have started the process last week, they're gonna start getting some answers this week. and then they're going to start their searches. So yeah, maybe.
Which really will lead us again, like I said, come, Easter.
Yeah.
We're about 3 weeks away from that.
Well,
things will change.
Yeah, I think so. And sellers will be happy to hear that too, right?
Yes, yes, absolutely.
But it's funny how like the numbers, we always say like the numbers don't lie. That's what we usually
Numbers
say.
never
We always
lie.
say that the numbers don't lie. Look at the numbers, and it's gonna be able to really give you a good depiction of for the future.
Yep.
But it's like, yeah, like I said, months of inventory dipped low into like the ones. Some categories had like 0.5 months of inventory.
Again, explain what's months of inventory. A lot of people
So
might
the months
not
of
know this.
inventory means that with the amount of inventory of houses that are currently on the market, with the amount of buyers, that it would take this many months to sell out of that particular product. So for example, if there's 1.7 months of inventory for detached homes in Mississauga, it would take 1.7 months if nobody put their house on the market. No more
listings
detached
came on.
homes came on the market. It would take 1.7 months for that current inventory to sell out.
My necklace just came up.
And when you're talking about other parts of that's funny. When you're talking about other parts of Canada, and they're seeing like inventory numbers up into the 6 months. So that's a lot
Yes.
of it. That's an extreme
Yes.
amount of inventory.
That
Right?
is a strong buyer's market.
Yeah, and so relatively speaking, general terms, a seller's market would be anything between 1 and 4 months of inventory. A balanced market would be between 4 and 6, and a buyer's market would be anything
above.
6 and above
Yeah.
months of inventory. So that's months of inventory, a little bit of a snippet. Another thing, if you want to know what numbers, is research absorption rate. I won't get into absorption rate right now.
This is way too much.
But,
This is like over our
that's
heads
another-
at this point.
But it's a lot of key factors that realtors look at when
Yes,
when
to
you want to know
understand the
what's
market.
going on, right?
But that's the point. We need to analyze the numbers. We need to understand it, because that's the other thing. You put out stats sometimes, and although we understand because we work on it,
stats are
daily
just the
and
surface.
monthly.
It's just the surface.
Exactly. It's knowing how to analyze it and really figure out what is that story telling us this month and moving forward in the future.
Yeah.
Which is why we say that we're finding that media is really painting that a super accurate picture of what's happening.
A lot of times they like to drive a negative condensation associated with certain things.
We don't need negative Nellies.
And the real estate market is just another one of those things that, hey, they're going to report on everything that's bad. But what about the stuff that's happening good?
Absolutely.
Right?
Like that's why we
What about
want
the
to.
stuff that's happening good?
That's our job. We will deliver the good news.
How much did we hear about the interest rate hike that nothing happened?
It was like
silence. Interest rate announcement yesterday, nothing happened,
Okay,
and then that
no
was done,
news.
right? But if it went up by 0.5, that would have been a 3-day story.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Right,
That's
that would
going
have
to
been
impact how the market is going to.
It would have started on like the next day would have been all 3 days of that, and then they would have ended it off with where does home prices see it in the future, right? What's going to happen, like right?
Down the toilet, it's tanking. Where the bubble has bursted, and we're all going to lose our homes.
Yeah, the bubble
true.
bursted a while ago.
Okay, so we talked about a little bit about the stats. We talked about obviously the rate.
The market
Nothing
in
has
general.
happened. The market.
Why
in
do you have a
general.
list on you in like your head? You have
Always,
like a little
there's always a list in my head.
little checklist.
No, I just like I said, I think I guess the biggest takeaway from this is understanding what's happening. And I think the best way to understand what's happening is speak to professionals. Your local real estate agents, they know what's happening specifically in their pockets. They can obviously tell you the big story too, but if you are obviously looking like in your neighborhood or for a certain type of property, we know what's happening. Okay, we can analyze the numbers for you. And truthfully, we will tell you the truth. If it doesn't look good, we won't hide that either. But I think it's important that we do share that there are differences and different perspectives versus what the media is saying. Mm-hmm. Also, we do still have a great listing in Beamsville. So if you are,
fail to point that out. That's true.
if you are in the market looking for your first home, possibly, or you're an investor, great property, 3-story townhome, freehold.
3 bedroom, 3 bath,
Mm-hmm.
1,601 square foot. Luckily, I just put they had to put the one, right?
Well, that's good. It gets us over.
16 and 1.
Lots of upgrades. So stone.
Quartz countertops in the kitchen,
Yeah.
quartz countertops in
In
the
the
bathrooms.
washrooms, the washrooms are actually very large.
Yeah, 9-foot
Very
ceilings, laminate flooring throughout.
His and her closet in the primary bedroom. You actually, in this one, which I was very pleasantly surprised, you have an actual laundry room.
Yes.
Which I don't think is very common with 3-story townhomes. With
usually,
sometimes townhomes, period, you don't just have it in the basement somewhere. No, you actually have a laundry room, which is really...
Well, it's technically not the basement, but I know.
But you know what I mean, like that they
main
tuck
floor.
it away or put in a closet or whatever,
The
right?
ground floor, yeah.
So yeah, great property. Like we said, it's on the market, it's available.
Another thing that's really cool about this property, which, I mean, it doesn't really matter to the sale, but I guess it kind of does, is that it's currently tenanted. Tenants are moving out, but these tenants were like AAA tenants. Like,
We've never seen tenants this
they've been
great.
there for a couple of years, and like the walls and the floors look like still, they treated the house like as if it was their own. They even had a dog, and we're like, well, they have a pet. We didn't even realize they had a pet because is that clean. And they've been super cooperative to work with. So it's nice to get, tenants that have a respect for the place that they're living in.
And the landlord.
And the
our,
landlord.
It's like...
They're not taking advantage of all the
Right.
tenant rules that they have.
But this is a pure example of a relationship that has worked and worked well. We always say the landlord and tenant, there should be a good working relationship, and this is primary example.
Yeah, exactly. But it's
So-
not every day you have that, so it's nice to know.
Yep,
But,
absolutely.
you're-
That there are still people out there that are great tenants, and obviously the landlord too must have been very good to them, and that's what we say. It's a working relationship. So yes, that one is available on the market. If you're interested, we'd be more than happy to provide you more information or even take you out to see it in person.
Yeah, go check out the video. You can go to our YouTube channel, Your Chosen Home, I believe it's called. And our Instagram obviously has it too. So if you want to check it out, go there. Other than that, I think that's pretty much all we really want to talk about today.
Yeah,
Right?
we'll be back again next month to talk about more numbers. Andrew.
Maybe we'll have a better subject than numbers.
Well, yeah, but again, it's important to know what's happening, and if you ever have any questions or if you're confused, because it is confusing at times, we're here to answer that for you.
Yeah.
In the meantime, stay safe, stay warm, and let's get this spring underway, because I think we are all completely done with winter.
Bye, everyone.
Take care.